Let them talk.
And welcome to Let Them Talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. We have a very important show lined up for you this evening. Joining me, three very interesting gentlemen who have played a major role in exposing vicious police brutality in New York City and in other locations around the country. I'd like to introduce Ramsey Orta, who was the person who filmed the death of Eric Garner, which we've seen before. Kevin, who was filmed the murder of Freddie Gray. Mm-hmm. And David, yes, and I don't know who you filmed. Somebody, I'm sure, equally. So this is a very interesting show, and we're going to talk about, what led up to these films, how important filming is as far as fighting police brutality, and the retributions that have occurred because Ramsey Orta himself has faced, as I've read in the papers and heard, extensive harassment, and is going to talk a little bit about that. So welcome to Let Them Talk. We're going to begin by maybe playing a minute or two of the clip of that Ramsey shot of Eric Garner, what led up to the death of Eric Garner. We won't play the whole thing, but we'll play about 2 or 3 minutes. So let's go to that and...
Talking about? I didn't do anything. What? I didn't sell nothing. You want to do what? I just sat down holding my stuff. He told me something.
I got. Don't worry, because he was just sitting here. I just came here.
Shit.
He was just sitting here.
Mind my business. I'm fight breaker. I stopped.
Yes.
You can put it up on me.
That's all right.
The people that's fighting just walk away. Are you serious?
What's your name? What? Yeah, say it again.
Yo, all this harassment will have to stop, yo. I'm sitting down here minding my business. You went up on me?
Take a ride down the block?
I live here.
All right. Where do you live?
Right here.
All right. So go in your building.
I'm not serious. I can't
Go in my building? What?
Can't stand here.
I can't stand in front of my house.
No. Not right now. Investigating something over here.
I got nothing. I'm staying right here in my house. I live here. All right.
I'll call right now.
Take me back for what? I didn't sell anything. I did nothing. We sitting here the whole time, running our business. What are you talking about? You watch me do what? Who did I sell cigarette to? To whom?
That's who had the fight. That's who had the fight. Yo, boss, that's who had the fight.
In a gray shirt.
I live right here. I live right here. I'm not riding no bike. I live right here. You can't tell me I can't stand here.
I can tell you, not stand within 10 feet.
I live here. This is my house. Y'all do what y'all gotta do. Don't worry about me.
Easy way or hard way for what? Every time you see me, you want to mess with me. I'm tired of it. It stops today.
This guy right here is forcibly trying to lock somebody up for breaking up a fight.
Everybody standing here, they told you I didn't do nothing. I did not sell nothing. Because every time you see me, you want to harass me, you want to stop me, try to sell a cigarette. I'm minding my business, officer. I'm minding my business. Please just leave me alone. I told you the last time, please just leave me alone. I did not do anything. If I was selling cigarettes, I would be sitting right here.
You would, because you've done it.
No, I have not. No, I have not. Every time I turn around, you grab me. You say I have cigarette, I saw you sell a cigarette. To whom? Which means it doesn't matter because you said I did it. Well, I did. No bag, I don't got no bag. Because right now I'm pissed the fuck off. Because I'm sitting here minding my business, you over here trying to grab me. Yo, come on, yo. No, I didn't do nothing. I did nothing, yo. I did nothing. I did nothing, yo. For what? I'm going for what? What did I do? I ain't do nothing. Who the person I sold it to? Every time I turn around, you say I sold it to somebody. Who? Me and my man here waiting for some girls, we ready to leave, and that's it. You do nothing. People out here fighting, you grabbing me for what? You did nothing. For what? What did I do? I did not sell no cigarettes. To who? To who? To who?
I heard she punched some girl in the mouth. The girl that you said was dealing with crack?
I got witnesses right here. They got the camera and everything. I did nothing.
Get the fuck out of here. She was here all morning. She just picked up
I did nothing. I got proof right here. I did nothing. Hold on. Don't touch me, please.
The girl came over,
Don't touch me.
gave us a bag of baby shit.
Put your hand behind your back. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Take it to me. All right, let them talk. I'm Paul DiRienzo. A very chilling thing. We could have watched the whole event. We played it before. We have the person who filmed that piece we just observed of Eric Garner screaming, "I can't breathe," as he was taken down in a chokehold. Within a few minutes, he lay there dead. And that must have been a very shocking thing to observe and to see. You were the person whose voice we heard in the background saying, "I live right here, I live right here." What were the policemen saying to you?
It was pretty much telling me to back up and, stay clear of the area.
Did they mention anything about the fact that you were filming?
No.
Right. So when did you expect the ending to happen? What happened, that he would be killed?
No.
What did you were friends with Eric Garner?
Yes.
You knew him.
Yes.
Right. And was he? Not that it matters, but in your opinion, was he selling loose cigarettes at that time?
No.
He didn't have a bag. He said, "I'm not doing anything."
No.
Why in your opinion, do you feel the police were harassing him or coming up to him that afternoon?
I mean, I can't tell you that question. Mm-hmm. The answer. Excuse me.
Why did you take out your camera and start filming? Is there a reason, something that in the past that happened, or a feeling that this was something you should do?
A week before I filmed Eric's death, I filmed another video of my friend getting beat up in the same area.
And did you? The Staten Island. I've heard many stories that the police in Staten Island, particularly, are sort of have their own. They own the streets. They do whatever they feel like in those streets. It's pretty much the feeling everybody's had on. Right? And what do you think about the? Are there police community related? We're talking about community policing. Is there anything as close to or involving community policing that goes on, where the police reach out to the community and have any connection with the community, or try to work out things before they happen or come to this point?
No. As far as reaching out is when they chasing you, trying to grab you.
Is there any change that's happened since Eric Garner died?
In Staten Island, I'm pretty sure, don't know. Mm-hmm. I haven't been over there. I only go over there when I have court.
Right, so let's talk about that. Numerous people feel that they have been targeted by the police after filming events like this murder that happened, this killing that happened. Do you feel that you were in any way targeted by police?
Yes.
What makes you feel you were targeted?
I mean, that same night they shined the spotlight in my window at like 4 in the morning, and after the next couple days later, they try to stop people coming out of my house and ask them why they was coming in and out of my house and things like that.
Were they actually hanging around your house?
Yeah.
And that was in Staten Island?
Yeah.
Near the location of where this event happened?
Yes.
And at what point did you get a feeling that maybe you should get out of Staten Island? Or did you feel that right away?
No, when I pretty much was in Rikers Island and the rat poison situation occurred, that's when I felt like I should move.
Tell us about that. We won't go into it, but suffice to say that you had your own interactions with law enforcement in Staten Island and New York City, and for those reasons that you cannot and we won't talk about, you were in Rikers Island and you felt that they adulterated your food with rat poison.
Yes.
What made you think that?
I mean, you know, I pretty much never heard it, rat poisoning being in prison food. And then, you know, when it just so happened to be in the house I was being housed in, and I didn't feel like it was a coincidence.
What was it you found? Where did you find the rat poison? And how
In
did
the
you know?
meatloaf, and I was serving the food, and we knew something was wrong when other inmates started like throwing up blood and going to the bathroom and things like that.
Really? Did you eat any of that meatloaf
No.
yourself? No. Right. And so was the what was found? Was the meatloaf inspected afterwards? Or
Yes.
It was.
Yes.
Well, can you tell me about how that occurred? How?
Me and a couple other people basically saved portions of it and got it into the right hands, and the Department of Health ran lab tests, and the reports came back it was rat poison.
And did you? Was there a complaint filed with the
Yes.
Rikers Island? And what was the response? Was there anything in the way of a response?
Not that I know of.
Mm-hmm. And so this continued on. At what point did you feel you had to get out of Staten Island?
As soon as I bailed out from that case.
Mm-hmm. And so you were forced to basically, from articles I read, basically double up, sleep on the floor in a relative's house, somewhere else, and where you tried to keep it under wraps where you were staying because of that fear. Were you bothered at all by police? Did you feel after that targeted by police? Were they following you, in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that same week of moving back over there, I was walking with a friend, and we seen the cops drive by, and I was like, I bet you they make the U-turn and jump out on us. And they did exactly what I said, and they stated that I just came from up the avenue and I had a fight with 4 people, and I'm like, officer, I just came from my house. I'm with my friend, and I don't know what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. And I mean, them waving at me and things like that.
Oh, on the street as you walk by, right? What are they trying to do by that? What did they ever tell you, or what do you feel is trying to?
I mean, you know, it's a scare tactic. What
do they want to scare? The video's already out there.
I mean, you know, to keep me quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to keep me from, you know, being out there as an activist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. Okay, Ramsey Orta, we're going to come back. I want to take a minute to introduce Kevin. You're here, and I'm surrounded by folks with really nice cameras, folks who look like they've been out there filming stuff for a while. You have a T-shirt that says Cop Watch on, David, and as well Cop Watch. What is Cop Watch? What does that T-shirt mean? What does that sweatshirt, that symbol mean?
Cop Watch to me, in my community, is when you can go out and police the police. And it's absolutely, I feel, essential to like the first line of defense when it comes to holding police accountable and responsible for the injustices that they commit.
Mm-hmm. Now, you mentioned to me earlier that you were filming at the event with Freddie Gray in Baltimore.
I actually filmed the video.
You filmed the actual video of
Freddie Gray.
Him being, and hands up, that was the hands up, don't shoot incident, right? Or is that, no?
That's Mike Brown. That's Ferguson.
That's Ferguson.
Yeah, that's Ferguson.
That's you
David.
were in St. Louis.
Yeah, I was in St. Louis.
And did you film in St. Louis?
I didn't film in St. Louis. What happened was there was no video. There was no Kevin Moore. There was no Ramsey Orta to film Mike Brown. And, you know, not just myself, but several people in the community, you know, thought it was a good idea to start, you know, watching the police. And even before we actually had got cameras, we had begun just having eyes on the police, you know, just to, you know, make sure that we seeing what they doing when they come in the neighborhood, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, Kevin, it was the rough ride in the back of the police car where Freddie Gray's back was broken on the way to the police station. At least that's what we believe happened. Is there any justice there? No, none of the officers there were indicted, right, in any of that case?
Well, they were all charged. They were all indicted. They were, you know, like, everybody got all of these, like, crazy, what I thought was crazy charges. Mm-hmm. They never received, you know, like a conspiracy charge or, you know, something to that nature. Me, myself, my argument was that the injuries happened before the so-called rough ride. They didn't argue that fact in court. In fact, they didn't call me at all in court to testify. I was the person who filmed it, the number one
What did you
key
film?
witness.
What did you film exactly? They didn't call you once.
The video that you see on the internet, on TV.
They did, but just tell us what that in that video. What do we see? What do we see happening?
Well, you see, before that, I'll say, Freddie gave up. He got down on his knees. He put his hands up behind his head. They dragged him from one point to the other. That's when I started recording, which was the point where he was hogtied, like, they had the heels of his feet and his back. His hands were, he was handcuffed. One officer had his knee in his back. The other officer had his knee in his neck. And they tried to stop me from recording, but of course I was defiant. They pushed me back a little bit. Would you mind stepping back? Yeah, no problem. I'll step back. I'm not here to, interfere with the investigation. And I was just trying to make sure my friend was okay. Now, when they picked him up off the ground, his legs were like completely limp. They were dead. And so when they pulled him out the second time and they said to administer leg shackles, this was like, confusing to me. Why would you have to administer leg shackles to a person that could walk from point A to point B, but the fact that they didn't call me at all to testify, and then when they played my video, they played it on mute in the courtroom. So they didn't want to hear what we heard. They didn't want to feel what we felt that day. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
And they gave the funny thing to me is that the city gave the family $6.4 million. They admitted to me that was admission that they did this to their child. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't enough to get a conviction. You know what I mean? And so I feel like money is not parallel to or an extension of justice. You know what I mean? And so you can't possibly, intertwine the two.
Right.
So.
Okay, and same thing. I mean, was there any indictments in any of these cases we're talking about? Were any officer ever actually convicted and punished for what happened in any of these cases?
It's the way the system is set up. When these police officers murder somebody, the first thing they would do would charge one of these officers with first-degree murder. And we all know to convict somebody of first-degree murder, they have to have so many different things to line up. If they would have charged them for a simple battery or charged them with, excessive use of force or something like that, they easily get a conviction. But they will always go for first-degree murder, which they know they're not going to get these cops because it's a first-degree murder is saying that the police premeditated this act that they just committed, and you can almost never get somebody, unless they have. There's plenty of cases. Don't get me wrong, where this happens, but
to get a conviction is very difficult, as they say, and so if they actually wanted to get a conviction, they would. I think, if they wanted a conviction, what's interesting is that we won't go into details, but Ramsey, I think it's absolutely a travesty that in a few days you're going to be locked up for some number of years, and as much as they try and say this has nothing to do with it, from everything you tell me, it does, and your supporters have filed suit against the city and the police department for that as well. My understanding. What does that suit say? What are you claiming? Do you know what they're claiming in that suit?
Oh, I was never aware that my supporters were filing any
or
suit.
you were filing a suit.
Yeah, I'm filing my own suit. And I was pretty much just behind the rat poison situation and for violating my constitutional rights.
And for all the things that happen afterwards, as far as but at the same time, do you feel safe that you're going to be locked up under their control? I mean, do you feel that for the next couple of years you'll be in a safe situation?
I mean, in the long run, yeah, because I got supporters behind me, always making sure, that I'm good. And, but they also got to look at the other side of the fence.
How has the support been? I mean, we were talking about the negative side as far as the attitudes of the police towards you, which seem to definitely be targeting you, shining lights in your house, yelling at you, saying hi to you, trumping up events that didn't occur. On the flip side of that, has there been a reaction from the public in your support?
I mean, I've gained thousands of supporters, you know, and real close supporters that keep in contact, check up on me on a daily basis. You know, I've gained a very strong family with We Cop Watch. I mean, pretty much they've been keeping me level-headed and, you know, on track and on board and ready to go.
Would you, let me ask you this question. Looking back on everything that occurred since then, would you have been so quick now to take your camera and film what happened to Eric Garner?
Yes.
You would?
Yes.
And do you feel that that film had any positive effect in a very tragic, negative situation?
I mean, the only positive I think came from it was, you know, the uprising. As far as, you know, people taking notice of what's actually going on.
And that's a question I have too in general as far as filming the police doing these things, is that now, you know, I always thought with film being available of all these events happening would have some positive effect, but it seems that now we just know that it's happening, yet it still continues, and it almost makes it worse in the sense of now it's right in our face. Do you feel in any way sort of like a feeling of that this did not have the effect that you wanted it to have?
Well, the thing is that you could have irrefutable evidence that says this officer did this. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I'm talking about video-wise, where they're caught red-handed and there's nothing more needed to be said, right? But it's a system in place that's set where it's not designed for us to win. It's not designed for us to profit or gain from the system. And so when you talk about these police constantly getting off for murder and brutality, and well, when you have a system that's in place that protects them from being charged with a capital murder, you know what I'm saying, then that should be the very thing that the people attack, you know, and these are the things that need to be changed.
So it's the system.
It's absolutely the system. When you have a police bill of rights to protect the police, you understand what I'm saying, from the crimes that they commit, how are we as Cop Watch, you know what I'm saying, able to present, right, this video that says they did this and then be held accountable?
What do you feel of the, this question all three of you, what do you feel, Kevin, David, Ramsey, about the uprisings that occurred in all three locations, in New York City, Staten Island, in Ferguson, and in Baltimore? There were massive uprisings. They captured the imagination of the whole country, and I think the country's still reeling today as these events happen in Oklahoma and different places. What's the latest? Charlotte, North Carolina. And what do you feel that this was these rebellions are righteous, a way to go? I mean, some people say violence is the wrong way to go.
Well, if I could just cut, I want to piggyback off what Kevin just said, because you got to understand, first of all, before people started filming, this stuff was going on. Yep. Now, America started to see what actually was going on, and now what we as American people are starting to see is that our justice system is not holding these police accountable. You understand?
Yes.
But the fact of the matter is, what's happening is people are starting to see this stuff and people are starting to react. Everybody's not going to react in the same manner. Other people, you know, look at these situations and react to it differently. You got to understand as well that there are stories that you never hear about. People already lost family members by the hands of the police. And then, like I know in the situation with Ferguson, I did not know Mike Brown. The fact is that this was another young man that was killed in our neighborhood, and Mike Brown very well could have been me or could have been somebody closer to me. And I think it got to a point with everybody, we reflected on the pain that was already caused us, and then that was the spark, you know, and you see that in all these different cities. I'm pretty sure all the people that stood up in Baltimore and in New York, they probably didn't have a direct connection to the person that was, the victim, but the act in itself, we all share in that pain. You know, we can all feel that, and it's just sad that people standing up. These certain things start to get burnt down, and people's feelings are not being expressed properly, and the people that's put in place are not giving the people justice.
Mm-hmm. And did you know Freddie Gray?
Oh yeah. I knew Freddie. Freddie was, a great friend of mine, and he was well known throughout the area, the community, and so, like when you asked, the question before, do you feel as though it had changed? Anything has changed? I feel like just the act of people getting up and getting out and being active and having a voice and realizing that they have a voice, you know what I'm saying, and taking the necessary courage to get up and actually make something happen is the first step in the change,
Interesting. Ramsey, I wanted to, anything you want, any information, any contact information you want people to know as far as your case, and people can stay in touch, and because people are worried about what's going to be happening to you over the next couple of years, and will be very engaged in that. And how can people find out more?
I have a site up and running. It's ramseyorta.info, and pretty much you can get information from wecopwatch.org.
Mm-hmm. Copwatch.org.
We Copwatch.
We Copwatch.
Yes.
WeCopwatch.org.
Yes.
All right, WeCopwatch.org. All right, a minute and a half. Let me just give you all an opportunity to tell me anything you'd like to finish up. Any messages you'd like to give right now?
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank all my supporters that have been backing me through all of this, and don't take my situation and look at it in a bad way to where, it puts fear in people's hearts, or, and I just don't want nobody to fall back from pulling out their camera and, still fighting, taking the stand.
And you said yourself you'd do it again.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Despite the tribulations you had to go through because of that.
I mean, I'll be right back out doing the same thing, so.
Excellent. And just any last words in the last 20 seconds?
Man, just film the police, stay safe, keep your courage, and know that you have rights, and try to exercise those rights as much as possible. And even though you might be afraid or might feel as though it might not work out in your favor, just know that you have people that are there in place, to protect your rights. And we Copwatch, and we will always be filming.
Last words, a few seconds. Anything else?
Hey, just protect people that's out there filming. You might don't have the courage to go out there. If you see somebody filming, just stand there,
Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.